Welcome learner, my name is Shibaji Debnath. In this tutorial, I will be talk about modules, Nestjs module. And in this module section is very much interesting part of this Nestjs framework because when we are created any application and there we have so many different kind of modules already required and that modules need to be set up with the proper architecture. And when we need proper architecture and manage that thing very easily, so that time we are using the modules. So Nestjs have modules with the module decorator syntax, and that module are very easily create and access sub controller and providers with that modules. So there have so many things are already you will be know from this video. So if you want to know about detail Nestjs module, so watch this video till the end, and I definitely sure you will be learn lots of things from this video. Okay, so let's start it. Here is the application module, is the main module which is already created when we are create any application. After that we need to be use or create sub module for the different kind of application module which we have required. So here have mostly required users module, which is actually most important because every website, every application must have users, and that users when we want to handle, so that time we need separate modules for that. Also we have order module, but orders module come to in third process, but mostly we are create any application, so first thing we have service module or product module as per e-commerce system. If you are building any e-commerce application, so that time we must have some e-commerce application. If you want to create through this framework, so we must have users module, also we have products module, also we have orders module, and also we have chat modules. Maybe sometimes we can create or not, it's not so much necessary. So this is the actually thing where we can be create so many things as a module. Why we are created the module? Because when we are create any modules for our application, so we can manage our application coding structure and code files very easily, and if we get any problem, any issues, so we can quickly handle that problem and manage that issues very quickly. So for that reason we are actually using the module. So how can we create the module in our application? And here I have so many type of modules I already have, and actually when we are create the module, so first thing we have discussed some basic things which actually required in our module class. So actually when we are create the module decorator functions, so this module decorators have four type of properties which is actually can be used. So we already know about providers, controller, import, export. Actually import and export we are not using in the previous video, but in this video maybe we are use the import and export thing. Also we have some type of things like features module. So here actually mention our feature module, but I will be create in the product module for our application because my main motto is we are building a real-time application. So if you are follow this series, so after ending this series you may build a real-time application after completing the series. Okay, so here is the features module, and this kind of module are created for the cats. And when we are create the cats, so must be there have some controller and services also. So we already know what is controller and what is services. If you don't know, so you can see my previous videos where I detail discuss about that topic. Okay, so after that when we are actually create the module, so that particular module need to be import in this section. And also when we are create the module, so that particular module have so many subclasses are can be implemented as per requirement, which is the basics architecture which you can see here. And also we have some shared module, so sometimes we can use multiple things are required, like one module have some specific features like database connectivity features. So database connectivity features may be used for the different kind of modules because where we want to handle the databases, so that database module handled by the some module, and that particular module can be used for the every module, so that particular module called as a shared module. Okay, so it is the basic examples of the shared module which I want to explain with you. Also if we want to use any services share with the other module. So here already talk about this is the actually examples. And also module re-exporting means once we are import a module from the core module and that particular module also exported with the another module, so that kind of things can be uses with our module class, and I will be discuss about that into this section. So next thing, global module, we can be discuss about the global module, what is the global module and how can be accessing that module, we can be discuss about that also. And very important type of module which is the database module, and these database modules are definitely shared module, and this module need to be access database module. And in the Nestjs, database handling is the tricky way, which is not be similar like other application development process. Like if you are already working with Laravel developers, so in this type of database management system is the new for you, so you can understand this thing in the later, but I will discuss something maybe in this video. Let's see, let's start at the code. Okay, this is the code, and this code I already created a user controller. So first thing, we need to be start our application first here. Okay, so go to the API app section, and after that we want to start our application. Firstly, start dev. So npm run start dev. So our application is already started. So let's see, colors 3000. So already we have our application is started. Okay, so also we have some user module, and this is the user home options. Okay, so this is the actually main thing, and which is actually after introducing module, so never changes any output to the front end part, but architecture will be changed for the managing bigger application. Okay, so main thing is when we are creating any type of controller or services, so that time every controllers are created or services anything are created into our Nestjs application. So every type of controller provider, whatever we want to create, so that particular module need to be registered in this particular section. So this is the app module section, and this app module section are actually registry part of every kind of module and provider section, and that modules are majorly important to handle the process. Okay, so now here I want to create a user module for this section. So firstly we are create this user module as a manual basis, and later we are create the module with the command line process. Okay, so first here user folder, and this user folder we can be create user module.ts file, and this ts file when I created here, so then we can use the export section here, and then use here class, and also we can use the export user module, and after that we have this thing. But when we are use the this particular module, of course we need to be use the module syntax, and this module syntax have something which is actually required, and after this thing, this particular module cannot be give us any updations right now for the output, because output is same. But thing is, if we want to add this particular module user.controllers, actually user module resource, so this time I just simply user controller need to be import here, and when I import the user controller here, and after this particular module can be added into this section. Okay, because when I create the module, so that particular module is the sub module of the app module section. Okay, and here I just simply added the user module section, and when I added this user module, so we never getting any changes for the output purpose. Okay, but now we can remove this user controller from here, because our user controller does not need to be added in this section further, because our all the resources, all the user module resources are handled by the this user module section or user module class. So after removing this particular lines, and after that we cannot see any output, because we did not have any problem after creating this module, and also we are added the controller. Okay, so here is the controller thing. But if we are create any service class here, so here we can also create user.servic service.ts class also, and here we can use class first we need to be use the export syntax first, and then we can use the class, and then we can use the service class. Okay, so this is the quick fix process. And hello user, So this is the service class method, and after this method we can be use the dependency for this section, and now we can use the provider, and here we can use the user service class. So here we can call the, sorry, it is not app service, it is the user service. Okay, and this user service need to be add in this section. Okay, and when I add this particular service class here, and then we can adding this section, we can add the output for this section. So when we want to add this section, so must be we need to be initiate controller first here, and when we are actually initiate the controller, so here we can use the private read-only user service class here, and after that user service can be accessed with the get hello. Okay, and now if we refresh the syntax, so we can see the output hello user message from this section. Okay, so this is the actually user resources, and controller and service both of class are managed by this particular class. Okay, so this is the actually basic module which is the actually required to handle the process. Okay, one more thing, if we want to share this particular service class with the another module, so that time we need to be share our resources from this module, because if we want to access this particular user service method get hello, so this get hello method, if you want to access this particular controller, app controller, which is the main controller of our application, and here we want to access hello, so this time I just simply use hello, and this hello if we want to access in this section, so we must initiate service class here, because here also required private and user service class also need to be import in this section for instantiation. And when we are actually instantiate this particular module in this section, this time we are actually accessing this process, and now I just simply want to use the user service with the get hello. Okay, so this is the actually process which I want to access, but our server is crashed. Because what is the reason? Because problem is Nest cannot resolve dependency app controller app service, and after this what is actually required this and how it works, app module does not know what is the potential solution. So just we can be use here export syntax into this section, and just we can be export our user service class into this section, and after that you can see the server is running, because when our server is running, so then we can see the properly routing system in our output. So this time slash hello get method already available, so just we can see the output hello here, and also we can see the hello app. Why hello app? Because this is the controller and this is the app service I am actually calling here. Thing is, here are two type of same routing system are using with the two different method, because this is the hello path which is actually uses here. Actually here we are use two methods are actually used. This is only hello or it is get hello. So hello when I calling, so first hello routing are appeared, but second things not appeared. So if we are use the user hello, so then we can use the user hello, and after that we can see the message hello user. So this is actually output of the basics. Okay, I think you can be understand. And this particular module called shared module sharing process. Okay, another thing, if we want to create dynamically module through the command line, so how can we create that? So firstly we are right click here into our project section first, and here you can be see open in integrated terminal if you are using VS Code for your development purpose. So you can see the in the open integrated terminal, and then here you can just simply use the nest, and then we can use the G, and here we just simply want to create the module. So when we want to create the modules, short alias name is mo, and then we are want to create the admin, because this time I want to create the admin module. So when we are actually create the admin module, quickly admin module are created, and that admin module are added automatically into the app module section. So now we can already see the app module section, we have admin module automatically added. So this time I just simply this admin controller which is here, I just move it into the admin directory, and when I move it admin directory, then we can get some error, but that error already resolved by the VS Code sessions. So this time we did not have any issues because this particular path already up to date after moving the file. This time did not require actually this particular file, so for that reason I just simply remove that file from this section, and also I remove it from here. Okay, so when I remove it from here, so definitely we could not see anything about admin part, admin URL, because admin routing system are available into the coding section, but that particular controller actually not registered with the admin module section. So definitely we need to be at the controller section, and when we are actually at the admin controller, then we can be refresh and then we can see the output admin homepage. Okay, so this is the very easiest way to manage the module by the command line process. Okay, so this is the two main thing which is actually want to discussion about the module section. Also we can be create another module because we want to create a live project for the e-commerce application. So for this purpose I just simply created another module, product. Okay, so product modules also are required, so this time I just simply create the product module, and also we can create the another controller because we want to create the controller module. So here is the important thing, when we are actually create the controller for the product section, so we already have the product module by default, and this time here did not register any other classes into this module. But when we are created particular controller through the command line, so after creating the controller, because this controller automatically created into this folder, and when it created in this folder, automatically next CLI will find local module which is the product module, and they are automatically added the controller section. So if we are created here, so automatically our module is added here. Okay, so this is the very easiest way to managing or create our application. Of course, when you are creating a larger application for enterprise level application, so I think this is the very easily handle your larger application through this way, because so many things are actually required for the bigger applications when we are actually creating proper application. So this type of architecture is very beautiful architecture, and this is called factory architecture. So this factory pattern or factory architecture is very much important for the enterprise level application development, and it is also called clean architecture, because when we are creating any application, so that time we must have need proper architecture for the every modules, and this kind of modules are very helpful to create bigger application to manage huge services or huge data very easily. Okay, so this is the thing, and when we are actually created this controller, and after this controller we must have some method called home, and if we are create the home process here, so this time I just simply need to be add the method get here, and this is the product home. And okay, so if we are create the product home, and then we can also see the product home page. Okay, so this some module already created by the automated way and by the creative mode. So another thing, we need to be create the database module, which is actually required for our application development, because we are moving forward for database development. So for that particular purpose, here I need to be create some another module which is called database database, and this time we need to be create the database module. And this database module are very important module, because this database module will be working as a dynamic module. Okay, so let's see, we need to be see what is the database module and how can we create this database module in our application. Database module is required for every kind of others module, because when we are create any other module, so that module are transactions the data, and how can we create and how it be manage these things. So now when we are actually create the database module, so first thing here we need to be create the static function first need to be create, and here we can be use the for root. Okay, so first thing we are here create the for root options, and after creating this for root options, then we have seen the this particular module automatically imported own module also here. Okay, and after that here we need to be create the providers options. So here we need to be added the provider options. So for that purpose, here we can create the const providers, and when we are actually create the providers, and this provider is the create database provider, and this database provider also a function which is actually required some options and entities are required for this particular section. So for this purpose, when we need to be import the provider function, so now here we can be create the provider class. So for this purpose we can be use pr, and now here we can be create provider with the database. Okay, so now here we also create the database provider. This database provider class is a service class. It's also working as a service class, and database modules connecting here. Also we can add another module like connection provider. When we are actually create the connection provider, this time it's created through the another folder. So just remove this particular folder, and when I remove this class, so also we get some error from this app module.ts, because this is actually unnecessary I remove. But when I remove this particular class, so after creating this class automatically updated our app module.ts. so if you don't remove this particular lines, so you got some problem accessing your application. If you are remove any folder, any module or any files, so definitely remove that particular modules from the main module. And now I just simply create the connections, and this connection creating in the database part. So this time just I simply create the database module, and that connections are already created into this section. Okay, so this is the connection, and if we don't want this particular path, so of course I remove this thing, and also I just remove it from here. And after removing this, I just simply use connection, but this time I just simply use the flat. And if I use the flat, so this time we did not have any folder structure. See in this section, just we are seeing only class. Okay, here we are actually need create database provider, which is actually thing where we can input some connections from this section. For this purpose, I just simply creating this particular class, and this will be actually functions name. So for that purpose, I simply go to the database class, and I just remove everything from here, and just simply create the export syntax here. And after that, simply create the functions name through this way, and just simply using this. And now I just simply create this particular process to create the connectivity thing. Okay, this time we could not use this process, just I use this as a recommended purpose, because when we are actually implementing the database integration process, so that time I will be discuss it elaborately. But this time I just simply use the name of options and entities. These two things actually required. So first thing, we can use op tions options, and this time it is actually used as any. And after that, and here I just use the entities, and it is also used as a any. Okay, so this time I just simply use this process to resolve the problem. And after this, we can create database provider module, and then we can simply use this process into this section and provider. And also here we can use the export the all the providers which actually can be imported. And also here we can connecting the connections database from this section. Okay, this is the actually dynamic module, and in this module we actually dynamically uses this module for the entity management purpose. And when we are actually use the entity management purpose, so these options actually are created with the two different process which can be used. Okay, so first thing, entity is the required options. So first thing, here is the entity which is actually must be required, and another is the options. So these options may be optional, so for this particular purpose we can use it as a optional, but entity is required. Okay, so this is the structure of the database path, and how can we use it into our application. So this particular database module, most of the times we can be added it into this main module. Mainly we can be use the for root, and then this for root here we can be pass so many entities data through this way, because entities basically represents the table object. Okay, so that table subject class passing as a entities, and that entity is actually connecting and working with the database CRUD operations. So this is the actually integration process, but this time I could not cover about the database module because in the separate thing I will be discuss about it. But as per module prospect, I just explain about these things, how can we create the database module as a dynamic module and how can we use that database module in our other module. So this is the process which I wanted to explain all the things. If you are like my tutorial, so definitely hit the like button in this video, and if you are new in my YouTube channel, so subscribe my YouTube channel. And if you want to know about anything for software development, so you can ask me on this comment section, and stay with me, and I will be meet with you with the next learning topic with the next video.